Before the 1998 World Cup final, Ronaldo Nazário suffered a seizure that was meant to sideline him from the final, but then he started the game. The 1998 World Cup, hosted in France, was set to feature one of the biggest blockbuster games of all time. The current world champions versus the host nation. Superstars all over the pitch. Cafu, Lilian Thuram, Rivaldo, Zinedine Zidane, and none other than Ronaldo Nazário, also known as R9. But the latter was mysteriously omitted from the team sheet before the game and later added as a late entry. At the time, everyone was confused. This was the best striker in the world, and some would argue the best player. He was not on the team sheet, not even named on the bench for the biggest game in world football. Journalists in the stadium were so confused, they even asked Pelé, who was sitting in the stands, but the renowned Brazilian was also unaware of what was happening. Imagine this: England make the World Cup final, and out of nowhere Harry Kane wasn't in the team or on the bench, and not even David Ornstein or Fabrizio Romano had the information as to why. That is what happened here. It was later revealed that R9 had suffered a seizure on the afternoon of the game. But if that was true, why did he start? Well, that is where the crazy conspiracies start to come in. Usually if a player started to have convulsions on the day of or before a game, you'd suspect they would miss the match and the medical staff would ban the player from even playing. But this time, Ronaldo started. For a while, theories began to formulate. The most popular: Nike had forced Brazil to play Ronaldo despite the health scare. Nike had just become the sponsor of the Brazilian national team, and having Brazil win the World Cup would have been a huge marketing opportunity for them. But doing so without the face of the team, that would have been a huge opportunity missed. Many people speculate that the sportswear brand forced Zagallo, the Brazilian manager, to play Ronaldo at all costs. And the rumours were fueled by the man that was meant to replace Ronaldo in the game, Edmundo. He said, Nike's people were there 24 hours a day, as if they were members of the technical staff. It's a huge power, that's all I can say. The conspiracy grew immensely large, so big that the situation was brought to a parliamentary inquest investigating Nike's contract with Seleção. The biggest line of inquiry was the 1998 final appearance by O Fenômeno. However, nothing ever amounted from the inquest. Another theory was that Ronaldo had a nervous breakdown and was going through depression, and he was unable to be medicated due to fears of doping allegation. This was pushed by one of the country's biggest news outlets, Folha de São Paulo. It was also suggested that FIFA had bribed Brazil to lose the game. Not exactly outrageous now considering what happened with Sepp Blatter in the end. According to TV Globo, they received an email stating that Brazil sold the World Cup for $23 million. It stated they would let France win to make new president Sepp Blatter happy. Then Brazil would be helped with an easier route to the 2002 final, and the country would host the World Cup in the next decade. Everything the email stated came true. Surely just a coincidence though, right? Other whispers claimed that Ronaldo's girlfriend had cheated on him and he found out in the hours leading to the game, causing him to have a meltdown, and then the seizures were cover story. Later in 2014, Ronaldo himself revealed that he had seizures for the game, and roommate Roberto Carlos had called for the team medic. The striker went to the hospital to find out what happened, but the tests all came back with no answers as to why. By the time the final test came back, the Brazil squad was already at the stadium, while Ronaldo was still in hospital. The Brazilian squad were said to be devastated, and that even on the team bus, unlike other games, no music was played en route to the stadium. Goalkeeper Dida said, I could see everyone had a strange look on their faces, in total silence, very unusual for Brazilians during finals. Someone said, Ronaldo is not well, he went to the hospital. R9 then showed up and told Zagallo he was okay to play, and the manager couldn't turn him down. The rest of the players were incredibly happy and hopes were raised. The striker played the match, but it wasn't a vintage performance, with many calling it average or even below, as Brazil went on to lose 3-0. A lot of people believe that the tactical change so close to kick-off meant the South Americans were ill prepared for the final. Questions have since been asked. What if Ronaldo didn't play? Would Brazil have won the game? In the modern era, no team would risk playing a player after such a traumatic event. The defeat definitely hurt, and Ronaldo was certainly not in the right frame of mind to play. But 4 years later, he would further cement his legacy as he scored 8 goals to bring Brazil their 5th World Cup trophy, defeating Germany in Yokohama. But even then, R9 was still fearful of his 1998 episode. According to him, his roommate for 2002 Dida was able to help him conquer his fear. He said he was scared to sleep before the final, but the goalkeeper's recipe of talking and playing golf worked, and he was able to wake up seizure free. Dida said, "Hey, I'm afraid of sleeping because I don't want the same thing to happen." I said, "Don't worry, calm down, because this time you're not with Roberto Carlos." We relaxed, played golf, then went to sleep. Nothing happened, we got up well, happy and ready to play. Many people out there still don't believe the story of the seizure and think something more ominous went down. Either way, I think we can all agree that Ronaldo probably shouldn't have ever seen the pitch in the 1998 final. Luckily, it turned out there were no long-term or short-term health problems, but it's still scary to think he was allowed to play. The 1998 World Cup final should have been Ronaldo's crowning moment. Instead, it became one of the biggest mysteries in football history. A seizure, a silent bus ride, a last-minute start, and a 3-0 defeat. Was it medical mismanagement, corporate pressure, FIFA corruption, or just a tragic twist in a legendary career? We may never get the full truth, but what we do know is something wasn't right about that night in Paris. And in the history of World Cup finals, there's never been a story quite like it. Thanks for watching. If you want more football conspiracies, scandals, untold stories, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next.